Dr. Swinnen, thank you so much for being with us today. How do you see the future of food systems transformation? Why are national pathways in coordination even more important now?
Yeah, well, they've been important all the time, right? But particularly now, after the Food Systems Summit of last year, which was, as the word says, very much focused on food systems, I think there's been a global recognition, and in that way I think the Food Systems Summit was very important. It's the first time that really at that level there's been a global recognition that systems approach, a food systems approach, or even broader food, land and water systems approach is really crucial to make change. Okay, now this change has to come about through changes at a number of levels, institutional changes, policy changes. Some of it is global, but ultimately a lot has to be done at the national level. And that is why these national pathways are so crucial. I mean, if things do not change at the national level, at the local level, all the global changes by themselves will probably not be sufficient.
Thank you for that. How does the current global crisis change the debate on food security? And what are the most relevant messages that you would like to convey to the rural development community to build resilience in these times of crisis?
Yeah, I think the current global crisis really is it's an additional negative factor in addition to the problems we already had. Okay, before COVID-19, we already had a worsening food situation, a worsening malnutrition situation. COVID-19 has made this worse, okay, has reinforced the problems. And now the crisis following the Ukraine war, we see that the prices of oil, of fertilizer, and of food were already high, and now they're spiking. And so that makes the issue much more complicated. The other thing is also that we've seen the sequence of crises, the sequence of shocks makes that we have to start thinking in terms of the normal factor, if you want, is instability. It is big price fluctuation, big market fluctuation. And so that we need to make sure that all the things that we do are taking resilience at the heart of the problem and also at the solution that we put forward. And the other thing is, but a lot of the actions which are recommended by the donor platform, okay, which is part of their white paper they just came out with, I think are relevant today. It's not that they have become less relevant. I think you just need to take them into the new situation into consideration, adopt them or adjust them. And the thing what also is clear now from the crisis situation is that sometimes it's hard for countries to stay with their commitments, both in the global south and in the global north. And so that reinforces the need, I think, for coordination, because through coordination, through cooperation, you may prevent local governments to move into directions which are not sustainable in the long run.
Thank you for that. What would you like small-scale farmers and the younger generation to know? What do you think should give them hope for tomorrow?
Yeah, it's, well, we won't be able to do it without them, okay? So there is no way out than really to engage them. The vast majority of farmers in the world are small-scale farmers. And of course, the future is with the youth, okay? So if we cannot engage youth in the food system transformation of the future, I mean, there will be no food system transformation. So they will have to be a really important and essential part and a dominant part in our changes that we want.
Thank you for that as well. What would you like the donor community to get out of the Annual General Assembly going on right now by the Global Donor Platform for Rural Development?
Yeah, I think we just had the first morning of discussions already, okay, and I think what's coming out already is some important lessons from the months which have passed since the Food Systems Summit. And I think there's some very encouraging signs, I think, in terms of countries which have made quite a bit of progress on their national pathways. There is also discussions on how sometimes the donor priorities or the coordination that they have in mind is not always fully aligned with the country level priorities. And therefore, I think there are lessons to be learned on both sides of this. And I think that's great. That's why we are here together. And so if we draw some important lessons from things which are working well, things which can be improved, I think that's more than enough to take forward.